Welcome to another episode of Wottalk. And in this episode, we're talking about the best conflicts of the Wheel of Time. I asked you guys to pick your favorite conflicts, but in a more broad term. I wanted not just physical or interpersonal, but maybe kind of conflicts that were themes throughout the entire story on just this level. And I got some great responses from you all in terms of what your favorite conflicts were. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and just jump on into it. So from John Mayer, Egwene slash Rand, and Rand slash Moradin. At the end, not the Bwahaha Rand slash Ishemael feud. So yeah, obviously, spoiler warning. Getting right out of the way for this one and jumping straight into it. So this one's a good, interesting pick because I like someone who's going to dissent against my own kind of thoughts because I think that makes good, conversation. And I'd like to know, John, why you picked the Egwene Rand conflict at the end. One I've been highly critical of, but there's still plenty of reasons to love it. So I'd love to actually get a bit of a further explanation for you on that. And I think the Rand Moradin conflict at the end is just kind of one that everyone loves quite a bit. Now we have Legacy TCG1, Matt and the Golem. The end was truly surprising, and I was worried that the Golem would be a completely insurmountable foe in the story, but leave it to Matt to figure out a way to kill the unkillable. That's a good answer. It's a very good answer. My only problem with it is that Matt didn't kill it. Matt kicked it through a doorway, and it's still theoretically falling to this day, and I would like to personally think that it is. But that's just me. But you're right. He did kill it in the sense that he killed it off in the story, in terms of it not being able to come back. Now we have Shirley Ann Bezaudentout. That's the best I could do. Spoilers! Even though I really dislike Elida as a character, the conflict between her and Egwene, especially in the last book, is effective and is showing Egwene's strength and growth. Elida grasping for power and control through force and instilling fear is a beautiful counterpoint to Egwene's calm dignity and the way she naturally starts earning her respect. Respect I feel she deserves. I have heard it said that Egwene shifts her alliances to the most powerful group at the time, but I don't agree. Yes, she can, maybe due to writing, come across as a bit of a holier than thou, but let's look at the situation she's in. I'd like to quickly stop here and talk about something you said. I also disagree with that criticism, that she jumps ship to the most powerful people at hand. What I think Egwene is really doing is always looking to learn. She's a constant student, which is something I really appreciate and respect. And what I think she's really doing is just trying to go to people who she thinks can change her view on things and jumping on into it. But continuing on. Everyone around her in the main party is given respect, Nynaeve and wisdom, and because she is older, Moraine, she is nice to die. Rand, because he is the dragon. Elaine is the daughter heir. Perrin is essentially forced to lead the two rivers. Matt also is followed against his will and given authority, even though he didn't necessarily want it. Egwene from the beginning has had to fight for any threat of respect or authority she is given. Even when she is made the rebel Amyrlin, she has to fight to make her false respect real respect. And I believe that everything she does is to the benefit of the White Tower. Learning how to be a dreamwalker as it is a lost talent, literally being beaten, and of course her final act is Amyrlin. Yes, I agree there are some issues with her relationship with Rand, but I think she is still traumatized by her testing traumatized by her testing to be accepted, in which every decision she makes leads to Rand's death. Man, that is an interesting observation. I had never thought about that. Look at you coming on here with the one hell of a point. Feeling responsible for one of your childhood friends' deaths obviously hangs heavy on her, and possibly why she seems so controlling and distrusting whenever he wants to do something dangerous, i.e. destroying the seals. That was good. That is a great start right there. That is oof, as the kids say. Really well done. Laura Fitzgerald, good to have you back, Fitz. Love seeing you in here. Spoilers for The Shadow Rising. Onwards. I think you can just say spoilers. The split in the White Tower was the good shit. I got to see all my favorite female characters shine. I kind of called it that your favorite was going to involve Egwene and Fitz. Just going to say that. And it was kind of conflict where I had no idea how it was going to turn out. It was long enough to be realistic, but not so long that it dragged on forever. The Gathering Storm was especially tense. By the time Egwene got captured and the Shan-Chan attacked, I was so on edge that I screamed and threw my book against the wall. Calm down. Calm down. Everyone calm down here. Everyone chill. Let's chill. The resolution to the schism was really satisfying too. Good use of the word schism. My baby girl Egwene really stepped up. Crying face emoji, crying face emoji, crying face emoji. Hit or miss, I guess they never miss. Huh. Ha 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 ha. Good job. Good comment. I love seeing it coming in fits with your personality and your amazing observations. From Ross J. It's good to have you back, Ross. This is responding to the previous two comments. And I don't normally do the responses, but let's go ahead and have the conflicts within the conflict comment section be a part of the conflict talk. Boom. I just conflict-ceptioned it. I was going to say the same thing, spoilers, though I guess all this is spoilers, but was Egwene manipulated by Swan until getting captured by the White Tower? I think maybe so. Now, the reason I wanted to bring this one up, because it's actually something that I'd love to see some discussion on, was Swan manipulating Egwene. I think that there's no one who's going to say no to that entirely, but the real question is to what extent. Because yes, Swan is a really great friend, but she is still someone who has her own agenda and is really just all about that. You know, she's really about doing what she thinks is right. I think she has a lot of the same character flaws that I largely think are amazingly well written and I agree with, as Moraine, in terms of it's about her agenda till the very end. Ipa, I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking. You know, I'm glad you're doing well, Ipa. And I hope that you join us in the next, wait. I don't know. Okay, never mind. Continuing on. I don't even know what I was getting at there. But I'm glad you're doing well. And, it's good to hear you coming back. You still missed Pivara and Andro relationship, which is the best in the series. Okay, I missed one. But the best conflict, Ipa comes in with the longest comment I think he's ever left on a Wottalk, and I love seeing it. Easily the conflict around male channelers. I have said this before, and I say it again. Fear towards them is rooted in the world so strongly, I myself feel uncomfortable reading sometimes when there is a lot of Sayadine being used in the book. Even after the cleansing, good writer can make you understand a world on a conscious level. But with Sayadine and the Taint, Jordan managed to make me feel the world on a subconscious level. And that is some masterful writing there. I like how at the beginning of the series, Jordan first makes all one power seem bad, makes the reader understand how much fear and superstition there is around it. And after you have that mindset, then he starts explaining the difference between Sayadar and Sayadine. All this makes the reveal of Rand's ability to have so much more weight, even in the first book, when the world as a whole is still very big and mysterious to the reader. While Red Aja is often seen as a bunch of villains, I would argue they may be the most important Aja out there. Every man with a spark can, any day, turn into a nuclear bomb. Yeah, I think we and I have talked about this, and I largely agree with you. And without the Reds, there would be so much more bombs running around the world. And I think we all agree that would be a bad thing to have to have nuclear warheads with consciousness running around. And on a personal level, I can't imagine how awful it would be for a young man to realize he can channel. It's like one day waking up and realizing you're the worse than a rapist, worse than a murderer, and the only way out is to kill yourself or make an Aes Sedai do it for you. The fact that most people don't really understand the One Power just makes things worse. And then we have this scene at like Dumai's Wells or Siege of Meridon. We get small glimpses of what the mad male Aes Sedai were able to do during the breaking, and no wonder people are deadly afraid of Rand's Ashaman could cause it all over again. And then at the very end, there is the scene where Logain is about to send all Ashaman searching for Sakharinen, Dima Dread's powerful sangreal. But the ordinary people ask for their help and are genuinely thankful to see these men. They don't see the Ashaman as monsters, but as heroes. And that is some beautiful shit right there. Oh, it's so beautiful. Well, the beginning conflict between Dragon and the Dark One, I would say the most important conflict of the whole series is this one. That's one heck of a comment. and I really, really like it. Apparently, I shouldn't get my headphones too close to my microphone, because if I do, an ear-piercing screech shatters through my skull, very similar to one I imagine a mad channeler would feel, because, wow, I just felt quite a bit of pain. James White, my favorite conflict is Matt versus Destiny. It's an interesting answer coming in here. Thank you, James White, for this comment. He spends the majority of the books trying to get away from his destiny, only to finally embrace it. Much like the Battle of the Fires of Heaven, much like the battle in the Fire of Heaven, in which he formed the Band of the Red Hand. Every time he tried to get away, it smacked him in the face until he accepted it. Man, Matt goes through more stuff than people realize, and he still walks around with a smile on his face. And I think he needs more credit for what he was able to put up with. Another one from Ross J, and we're going to go through all the comments today. So if you commented multiple times, I will get both your comments. Picking one is hard. So here's a few briefly. Spoilers. Nynaeve and Moghedien is probably my favorite. You can track Nynaeve's character development through this conflict. I never thought about that, but it's actually really true. They fight in person when Nynaeve has the huge realization that she has the strength edge, which is an amazing moment. They fight in the world of dreams, where Mogi is way more powerful and dominated Nynaeve. Mogi ambushes her and Lan saves her. And as it unfolds, we get real fear, and then from not Nynaeve, which honestly doesn't happen enough with characters who are facing the Forsaken, in my opinion. Yeah, that's true. Another top choice is Matt versus Demon Dread in the last battle. They're amazing military minds, the most powerful Forsaken versus the son of battles, and at the same time, both men in the field actually fighting too. Others have to be said. I'm going to let the others get to by other commenters, Ross, but thank you for leaving that comment. Now from Hyper Carries for Life. Still not entirely sure what your name means, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that one day, Hyper Carries. My favorite conflict is probably between Rand and Cadsuane. An unpopular opinion coming in here, because this is one that is some people in the series really don't like. I like it. I understood the purpose of it, and I think it served its purpose very well. So for so much of their time together, Cadsuane just dominates the relationship. But when Rand finally snaps, the whole thing is turned on its head. I just enjoyed that a lot. I know it's a bit shallow, but it did it for me. Apart from that, I would say the conflict between Egwene and Elaida for the heart and the minds of the Aes Sedai was also very awesome. I don't think that's shallow to like that. It was a really rewarding moment and an amazing character moment for everyone involved. It's not shallow to like. That's appreciation of good writing. Don't talk down about what you like. I'm here to hype up what you like. All right. This is from Jacob Licklitter. I hope I said your name right. Daniel Greene. Not one of the big world-spanning conflicts, but Nynaeve and Elaine in book 4-5. I can't remember which. Mainly the circus stuff and the master and servant dynamic is just a nice series of comedic moments and character growth. Also, a lot of Nynaeve's conflict with Moiraine in Eye of the World is really good, especially if you see it from Nynaeve's perspective. If you have this Aes Sedai coming and taking 3 boys you have cared for most of their lives, and then it turns out you are destined to become an Aes Sedai which you hate with your very being. Those are probably, your first pick there is probably going to be the most unpopular opinion pick of this whole comment section. I just have to say mad respect for sticking to your guns and throwing it out there. And I do like those comedic moments between the two. They are well done. While the circus sequence has its issues, I will say it also has some really shining moments as well. From Kill Cow, with a profile picture, I can't tell what it is. The Rand Luce Theron conflict relationship is one of my favorite, especially considering that they are my favorite characters to follow. But in the series, you could really see how they were struggling. Rand with his madness and Luce Theron with his grief, and their final confrontation / realization on Dragonmount was the best ending to their story arc. You're not wrong. In fact, I'd say you're right. That is, I was surprised it took so long for someone to mention this. So I'm shocked, I'd say. From Demon Dread, I need to discount your opinion right away. I feel like you're an impartial source, If you are Demon Dread, what other pick could you have? No, I'm kidding. All right. My favorite conflict is the general power struggle between the Forsaken. Of course it is Demon Dread. between the Forsaken. Some of my favorite character scenes are the meeting between them where they are introduced to these powerful legends we've been reading about for a long time. I also love the sheer resentment they show each other and their inner monologues where they question the other's motives and whereabouts. I don't disagree. Tracy! Oh my God, it's Tracy coming in strong with a pick. She's coming in with a pick. All right. My one-off joking answer. Okay, let's stop you right there. Do you think that this show is a joke? Huh? No, I'm kidding. My one-off joking answer would be Leanie and every moronic choice of others she has to suffer through, but not really joking. But seriously, though, Egwene's conflict with everybody except Swan to finally secure the Amerlin seat. As a young woman reading the series, raised in the deep, deep South, I was very much related to both Egwene and Nynaeve. That's interesting. I never made that connection, but that's a good. It's an interesting anthropological perspective. With having issues with older people not acknowledging aptitude or the knowledge of one's own mind as a young woman, the whole "you're just a young girl and will change your mind about XYZ," such a pain. Glad to see her conquer. Interesting. Okay. From Josie Seeger. Any relationship to Bob? Okay. Logain and Taim. Thank you. I love this one. Okay, moving on into it. I really felt like the Black Tower Logain was really the light fighting the dark, and I thought that he was the representation of the whole of what. Wow. Of would the male channelers be accepted into this world or not? That's worth a whole video. I'm gonna do a whole video about the Black Tower conflict. It's coming. It's coming down the road. It's happening. I don't care if you guys don't want it. It's gonna be there. And you know what? I'm tired of the naysayers. I'm tired of people coming and telling me not to do these. No, I'm kidding. No one's ever told me not to make a Wheel of Time video. And I don't think anyone would ever believe if I said that they did. Because that's basically, I'd say 30 to 40% of my channel. And that's a good thing. But let me get into the next question here, because that was a good one. I like the Logain Time one quite a bit as well. From the amazing, wonderful contributor, Soissone Orandi. I hope your life's going well. I hope everything's going well for you right now. My favorite conflict is the one between Egwene and all the people trying to manipulate her to their own ends. I need to make a video about this, apparently, because the whole Swan question and the whole her rise to power has a lot of levels to it, and it's worth a more close examination. So I'm going to read your comment here, but know that you guys who have brought up this conflict again and again, which it deserves to be brought up, it's interesting. You convinced me to make a video on that as well. So we have a Taim one and Logain one. We have an Egwene one. Ramonda, Lelaine, the Black Aja, Elida, and even Swan Sanche all attempt to steer Egwene towards a course of action that benefits them in some way. Of course, Swan motives were aligned with Egwene's own goals and best interests, but that was not the case for the others. Ramonda and Lelaine each thought of Egwene as a useful tool to use against the other. The Black Aja saw Egwene as a pawn to foment dissension within the ranks of the Aes Sedai, both in Saldar and Tar Valon. Elida saw Egwene as a symbol to humiliate and demoralize her enemies. Egwene masterfully turned each of those attempts to control her to her own advantage, and each woman in turn learned the hard way that she had completely underestimated the girl Amerlin. Egwene never gloated over her incremental success either. She continued moving forward. It was never about those other women or wresting control from them or consolidating power for herself. She just needed to get the job done so the White Tower could be healed and whole when the last battle arrived. Good comment so far. I'm enjoying it. We're going to get in the last paragraph now. It was not easy or obvious path to victory for Egwene, which made my favorite conflict. Egwene did not have Tal'Viren to bend the pattern around her. She did not have wolves, Aiel, or the Dark One's own luck to make her easier. Matt just got triggered with what you said. She often didn't even have the one power to achieve her ends. Egwene often found herself with no allies, no options, but still, she persevered. Yep, there's going to be a video about that. That's coming. That has to be a video about that. Johan Sigurðsson. How's it going, Johan? You have one of my favorite names, by the way. Johan is an amazing name. Johan. All right. I'm assuming this episode will be full spoilers since it's hard to tackle this subject without them. No, this has been completely spoiler free. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why I'm being snotty right now. First thing that came to mind was Perrin versus Fail in regards to barreling and shouting. Okay, this is usually a pretty unpopular opinion. So I'm excited to see so many of these coming out right now. But seriously, I think my favorite conflict is the Sean Chen versus Everybody. I just immediately think of Detroit versus Everybody because that song, which, weird long backstory, I heard that song way too much in college. At the start, they are just this foreign invaders with seriously messed up ideas of how to treat people, but then they are forced to adapt. And as we get better glimpses at them, we can see that things aren't as simple as they looked. While some of the things they do to people are seriously messed up, they are still people and capable of good things. Capstone moments for the conflict, I would say. Okay, I thank you for including capstone moments. That's a good idea, Johan. Our first meeting with Suroth as she captures Egwene. Rand's fights with Turok. Elaine and Nynaeve's interactions with Greene and Terrebonne. Our first meeting with Tuon, Matt's marriage, when he lets her go, and the ensuing fight alongside the Death Watch. Rand's meeting with the fake Daughter of the Nine Moons, Rand's meeting with Tuon, and finally, perhaps one of the most important ones, Zin Rand's meeting with Fortuona. That's a good comment. And yeah, I honestly expected the Sean Chen to be brought up earlier, and was surprised it took so long. And he also has a poll suggestion. I think it might be better to have multiple choice polls I think it'd be better to have multiple choice polls because it would allow us to troll pick and vote at the same time. Well, this last one was multiple choice, my dude. This would give us better data on what is hated and what is good but not the best. But the questions would be needed to be modified slightly to account for this change. That one was multiple choice, but I think, the way I phrased the question caused people to think it wasn't. That's on me. Rand/lose Theron, or the Rand/sanity struggle. So many moments where you begin to wonder if Rand is actually losing his mind, the whispers of his previous life, and moments where Lews Theron takes over. When would he cause the destruction everyone feared? Yeah, that was one of the best conflicts. Jonathan Dunn, Egwene versus Elaida for control of the White Tower. Man, I did not expect that to be so popular. I'm just an ignorant fool. A wool-headed sheep herder, whatever, I'm all that stuff. All right, so I'm going to skip over a couple of redundant one here. Sorry, guys. Matt versus his conscience. That's also very true. Interesting pick here. Rand and Elon using his actual name. That's bold of you. I wouldn't sleep. I'd sleep with one eye open at night. No. Going all the way from Ishamael, the madman who might actually think he is Balzaman / the Dark One, to less mad, scheming, clever, nameless Moradin. And then when Rand finally remembers his life as Lews Theron, they finally stood on equal footing. By the very end, we've completely understand Elond and what he wants. We know and understand the reason he turned to the shadow, and of course, it is interesting how Rand and Moradin are connected after their balefire streams crossed. Insert GIF right now of the Ghostbusters crossing streams. That one also deserves a video. Man, I need to do so many more Wheel of Time videos. Expect a lot more Wheel of Time videos in the future, guys. They're happening. From Stubble McShave, coming in hot with another hot comment. I'm hoping you finally shaved that stubble. Conflict can be so many things. My favorite conflict is the conflict that the Aiel have towards following Rand. That's a very good pick. I just had a weird noise start in my apartment. I'm not sure what that is, but we're going to push through it. The wise ones know what they are, basically a tool to be used. They can only hope that he starts to see himself as one of them before the end. Yeah, that was an amazing cultural aspect of the Aiel, because I think any lesser culture would have resisted more. The fact that the Aiel only schismed to the extent that they did was honestly remarkable. So I'm actually, I love that conflict deeply, because it explores their culture and how, not all, but a majority of Aiel actually do walk the walk that they talk. Hashtag the Shido are cowards. They aren't really. It's hard to realize what they realize. Anyway, triple double Russ00_ says, it's not my favorite, but it's the one I want to give love to since I doubt it will be mentioned. I love the Aelfin and the Eelfin. I think I spelled those wrong. I think you actually did them right. And the multi-layered conflict Matt has with them, I found them incredibly fascinating. And I hope they are not cut into the show. I hope they are not cut in the show, especially seeing how easily that could be done. I don't think they will. I think the really unique stand-out moments of Wheel of Time won't be cut. And the Aelfin and the Eelfin are such a unique, interesting aspect of the world. I can't imagine that the showrunners would want that to be gone. From Eric Shepard. Commander Shepard. Sorry, I had to do that. You guys know I have to do like the name jokes. It's just part of who I am. Rand versus Rand. In parentheses, LT, meaning Lews Therin. In my mind, this conflict drives Rand through the majority of the series, not knowing if you can trust yourself to be sane, conflicted with every decision he makes. The voice in his head, the constant fear of being betrayed, the weight of death of others on his shoulders. Too many other aspects to mention in a short post. Why are you making it short? You can make it long. This conflict is what prompts Rand to make decisions, whether they be good or bad. Without this conflict, Rand can't move forward, and neither can the series. That's a very good comment. I like that. I like because it gets into depth. It hits hard on this fact that it is Rand versus himself in a very deep, disturbing, honestly way. We have Shamal versus the Dragon. I agree. And that was from Iridiren. And then we have Nesterior. This one's very difficult. So many good ones in the replies that I would love to pick. Loyal and his mother would be another great addition to the list. The struggle to be grown up when you're ready while you're being told that you're not. And Loyal is such a grown-up character. A bit blue-eyed at the beginning. As a blue-eyed person, I resent that. I'm kidding. But such a great character in development. Dude, your comment goes on, but you should have just left it there. You chose the best one. Let's just be on it. But you got some more more conflicts coming in. But then there is one that is just okay. Then you dotted and didn't finish. You didn't finish the thought. Okay. Well, here we go. I will call it Battle of the Dragons or the Grand Circle. The problem is that the starting point, but then again, there can only be one. First creation in the very first age of magic. This is a bit alluded to, and most of it's in my own conjecture, but we have a cyclic battle between light and shadow. One side is the Dark One, the Lord of the Dark. The other is the Creator, the Dragon Reborn. Only the Creator is inactive and the Dark One sealed most of the time. Sometime after finishing the series, I realized that why it is only the ages that take turns. What happens when Elon is right and the Dark One wins at some point. Arthur Pendrag Tandrel said himself that he has fought with Rand as many times as against, but always under his banner. And while I can believe that the light still won, I don't believe it did all the time. So the question is, what happened? The Dark One promised Elon to return everything to nothingness, but I firmly believe that there would be a new creation at some point. Granted, it could be the Creator stepping in and at some point, and yet, seeing how Rand and the Dark One used pure Sayadin and Sayadar to weave makeshift realities, I think that the Dark One himself may create a new, starting the turning of the wheel again, and the Dark One will be the first to rise up and calling for a stop of all this bogus, which is and eventually with a dragon rising to defend and then seal away the Dark One. Then, eventually, people will bore into the prison, starting the War of Power, ending with the incomplete sealing of the taint, leading to the breaking of the Dragon Reborn. It's this grand cycle to all the turnings of the wheel. Well, that comment went places. Moving on to Camellia Irigis. I'm not going to tip that name again. So many great conflicts in Wheel of Time, but if I had to choose, it would be the White Tower split. That conflict was always so interesting to me, and being a number one Egwene fangirl, I couldn't help but love seeing my girl take a center stage and become a fully actualized Aes Sedai leader/woman. Good points. Good point. I have to give a shout out though to Matt Gawain Galad fight in the close second. That fight was a fist pumping, satisfying level. How has no one mentioned that yet? That was what I was expecting number one first comment to be, but it's a secondary thought on someone's comments way down the road. How is that not number one? Okay, sorry. Moving on. I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised. All right? Just going to put that out there. Moving on. Really good comment. And you guys are convincing me all the time that Egwene's more awesome than I give her credit for. And this is from Sofija Fundik. I hope I said that right. I find the conflict between the White Tower, notably the Reds, and the Black Tower really interesting because despite everything their Aja believes in, they step in to try and solve the problem first and in a completely different manner than what they had done in the past. This also lets us glimpse at some of the amazing things that can be done with men and women working together, leaving us to wonder at what else could be done in the future. Yeah. Oh, the sense of wonder you're left with is magnificent. It's magnificent. All right, we're well more than halfway through all the comments here. And finally, we get Cameron Bradley mentioning Dumais Wells for a battle and Rand and Taim for character conflict, though Matt and the Golem was cool. I was expecting someone to do a deep dive into Dumais Wells. I was expecting how the Ashaman kill moment and all this stuff, but no one's wanted to do a deep dive into that. Okay. Again, I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised. That's all I'm saying. Spoilers for Memory of Light. Egwene versus Mazrim Taim Mahale is definitely one of my favorite conflicts. After the scene in Tel Riyadh between Egwene and Perrin, in which he stops a stream of balefire, Egwene realizes in the last battle that after Mahale destroys quite the amount of people in area using balefire, it is just a weave, and due to this, she invests an entirely new weave to counter it. The reason I love this is that even though I don't really like Egwene, shame, no, I'm kidding, she is shown to have the ability to be incredibly skilled at adapting to the current situation and showing her power with the one power. She creates an entirely new weave, mind you, not rediscovers. True. Actually, yeah, I like that you pointed that out. To counter one of the most powerful pieces of magic in the Wheel of Time universe on the spot. This just shows how amazingly skilled she is at adapting the one power. Excuse me for my grammar and spelling mistakes. English is not my native language. Well, dude, you did better than most other people in this comment section, honestly. So hats off to you. You're doing great with English, and keep at it. Pretty much all of Rand's conflicts, this is from George East, pretty much all of Rand's conflicts were excellent for me. The ones that stood out the most were Rand versus Lews Therin, Rand versus Ishamael, Rand versus Mazrim Taim was really good too, agreed, yep. In terms of battle, the Battle of Falma is what made Wheel of Time stand out as my favorite series instantly. I'll never forget reading that part. It also really enjoyed the series of battles involving Rand during the Shan Chan back through Altara during the Path of Daggers. So both times the Shan Chan got defeated. All right. From Ryan Reader. I'm going to have to go with Rand versus the Dark One. In the end, Rand decides that he has to kill the Dark One. Wait, what? He ends up battling the Dark One itself in a sort of real outside time and space, which each of them creating new worlds to show what things would be like. As Rand traverses these worlds, he realizes that evil is bad, it's evil, but it's also necessary. Being left with freedom to only choose good is not freedom at all. You have to be able to choose between good and evil, and for that to be possible, evil must exist. I thought it was a great point with real, genuine applications to real life. It was told so well, visually, with the alternate universe, plus the nature of the cosmic battle while the last battle is going on, which is all about buying time for Rand to have his battle. Kind of like Aragorn and the others buying time for Frodo to get the One Ring to Mount Doom. It's so epic, and it pays off with fundamental insights into the nature of everything. It's basically the center conflict of the whole series with everything else leading up to it. Yeah, that's actually a really wonderful pick. Good job. All right, from Diana Barilla. There we go. You forgot about... Okay, I know I forgot about Andral and Prevera. All right? You know, I didn't say you guys are allowed to criticize me, okay? No, I'm kidding. Please do. Please criticize me anytime I make a mistake in your mind. In detailed, sarcastic tones. I made a long comment about it when your last video came out. I guess it got lost in the shuffle. Sorry about that. Well, I didn't go through the comments for the relationship video, and I do apologize about that, guys. After the video is up, I realized I probably should have. I thought maybe if I asked the question and tell you guys to answer in the comments, you guys kind of have a discussion among yourselves. So maybe I didn't want to, but there was a lot of really great responses, and maybe an episode in the future I'll go back to them and pick up some of the best and include them. Maybe I should do like at episode 20 a comment recap where I go back through and pick out some of the best comments from each video. That might be fun. I'll look into that. As far as conflict goes, one that was very satisfying to see play out was Demon Dread versus the various non-channelers that try to kill him during the last battle. It wasn't an overarching conflict and didn't have any super deep implications, but it was fun to see different men go up against him one by one and see them get closer and closer to defeating him until finally Land proves once again that he's the actual best, the GOAT, as they say. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. You are right. As they say, when he finally kills Demon Dread in the most epic way possible. It was a satisfying end to a good villain, and we finally got to see Land go all out. That was a beautiful comment. That was great. Anytime someone just heaps praise on Land, you're going to get in my good graces. I'm just saying. You're just going to get in my good graces, all right? So I'm very happy with your comment, and I agree with it. And though I am of the opinion that Land should have died, fight me, come at me. I think he should have died. I'm sorry. All right. From Chaston Ashton, coming in again. I love seeing you here, my dude. How's life? I know I asked Ipa last time, but he's dead to me now. Now I'm asking you. No, he's not. I love you too, Ipa. I can ask multiple people, guys. My favorite conflict, although very short, is between Rand and his father, Taim, and Aes Sedai manipulation of both. Throughout the whole series, I kept asking myself, when are they going to meet up and sort things out? Cadsuane gives Tam bad advice, and their plan backfires, sending Rand into a fury. And then afterwards, I love how Rand has his revelation, returns, and is this brief moment where he is standing on the steps just lower than Tam. The Aiel and other followers witness Rand finally honoring his father, and this act is almost deemed more important to the Aiel than any other accomplishment or achievement by the Kara Karn. Oh, it's a beautiful moment. It was such a good moment. Yeah, that's honestly like top 10 Wheel of Time moments for me. Just saying. Maybe also foreshadowing another Wheel of Time video. You don't know one way or the other. Just saying. It's out there. Just putting it there. From the Manus Baratheon. I wonder what your favorite series is. Ishamael Morden ran throughout the entire series, but specifically during the last battle. Good answer. Good pick. From Connor Reading. Definitely Rand in his sanity, experiencing his slow descent and questioning whether that voice was really Luce Theron or just him rationalizing his way, his own madness, was masterfully executed, I think. Yeah. Perrin's whole inner conflict with the wolf part of him. This is from Peter D. His fighting with Slayer, getting to really trust and rely on Hopper, and then finally seeing Noam in his wolf form and different kinds of balance in the Wolf brothers have found within themselves. This may not be my favorite conflict throughout the whole series, but you left the question pretty open and ended, and I decided to take advantage of that. Good! That's what I wanted you to do. And appreciate the inner struggle of how Perrin had to figure out for himself, not even really being able to ask Elias what to do. That was a beautiful answer. Right there. We're moving on to Sarah Graham. How's it going, Sarah Graham? I hope you're having a good one. Also, just I'd like you guys to leave in the comment section whether or not you're going to JordanCon, so I can know who I'm going to see when I'm going to be there next year. And I'm excited. This is unrelated to any of the comments that are coming up, but I just want to put that out there. So if you're going to JordanCon, let me know in the comments down below. Rand Cadsuane / the Wise Ones were the first that came to mind. Cadsuane's pact with Cerelia to teach Rand to laugh and cry again was what won me over to her. Finally, someone else who appreciates Cadsuane. I know she is a controversial character and definitely has her faults, but she's one of my favorite Aes Sedai. I also love Cerelia. I completely get why Rand is fed up with people trying to manipulate him, though. It's a conflict that I have trouble easily picking a side for, which is perhaps why I love it so much. I think it's a really important / necessary conflict, too, since it's pivotal to see Rand's ability to defeat the Dark One. I also love how much pride the Wise Ones have in him at the end. The Karn has embraced death, and we said He has given up on trying to be as strong as the stones and has instead achieved the strength of the wind. Oh, I just got chills. Sorry. Okay. From the Green Ranger. Perrin and the Axe. The struggle between Perrin and the Axe and the Hammer represents the inner struggle of Perrin as Perrin fights to figure out who he is. When he finally makes the decision, it's a huge turning point in his story. Yeah, it is. Oh, it's beautiful. I wish I wish you'd done a little bit deeper, a little bit longer comment. I would love to see that. Hashtag WoT. This is from Flat Brim. Oh, I love your username. I love seeing you back here, Flat Brim. Hashtag best conflict, Egwene and Elaida. For so many reasons, if you don't know this is the correct answer, it's time for a second reread, kids. Oh, with the condescension. From Brian Wagner. Look, if you haven't finished the series, do not read. Also, sorry, Daniel, for the novella here. Dude, it's like it's 3 paragraphs. It's not a novella. What are your Can I put out my book? Because honestly, what I have right now is like 20 paragraphs. Can I put out 20 paragraphs and it be done? Can that be a novella? Sorry, I'm being a dick. All right. Man, if I had to say a conflict that is my favorite, I think it would have to be the internal conflicts in the White Tower post the split. Because that way I can cheat and bring up a few plot points I enjoy. How dare you, sir? How dare you? Alviarin is easily my favorite villain in the series, and watching her fracture the White Tower and then proceed to stress it even further was brilliant to watch. Now you may argue that this is all Masana, which I would argue. Alviarin is just an aide. She's a puppet. I think everything we know about Masana paints her more as a delegator than a planner, giving Alana the Black Tower a large goal and expecting them to be able to carry it out. That's actually okay. Within the span of 2 sentences, I went from disagreeing to considering. Anyways, that conflict led to the Black Aja Hunters subplot, which only introduces quite a few of the my favorite side characters. But it also has a very unique feel that didn't get away with else in the Wheel of Time. Watching these sisters hunt down a hidden enemy, knowing that a single misstep or mistake could lead to their deaths, was so cool and found a breath of fresh air in the slower books, even though it totally goes to where big misstep from Jordan Sanderson, in my opinion. Lastly, we have Egwene in the White Tower, which is simply fantastic. All series Egwene has learned to rely on her friends, her strength and the power, and her dream walking to deal with her issues. Being captured declines her most of her usual tools and puts her in a situation where she is caged. The thing that has been her worst nightmare since book 2. So by all accounts, this should be her lowest point, a point where she struggles to survive. But it's not. Egwene not only survives in captivity, she thrives. Egwene manages to, with no weapons but her own sheer force of will and intelligence, I added intelligence there because I thought it was necessary, and reforge the White Tower, undoing, most of the damage Alviarin, Masana, and Elaida did to the tower, resolving many conflicts in the tower, and managing to fix the White Tower schism while in captivity. Also, as a side note, the scene where she calls out Elaida is just amazing. Easily one of the best in the series for me. Great comment, Brian. Great. Top 20, top 10 of this whole comment section. From S. Hollis. I love hearing from S. Hollis. Going way back for my favorite conflict. So much so I don't even have to put in a spoiler warning. My favorite conflict is Nynaeve and Moraine. And interesting because both are very compassionate and caring people. Yeah, that is a good conflict. And, doesn't actually really deserve... Okay. When you're talking series-wide, I think if it happens in the first half of the first book, unless it's something, like, super specific, you don't need to put a spoiler warning. That's just me. All right? From Adrian Newton. The conflict between Rand and Egwene during the iconic scene in the Hall of the Tower is one of my favorite individual conflict moment. Rand enters the White Tower, all nonchalant-like, damn dragon reborn there that he is, and just tells Egwene that Egwene in the hall that he is going to break the seals. The back and forth in this is amazing, and the fact that Rand's very presence stops the rest of the Aes Sedai in the hall from even talking and interfering gives me chills. Why am I screwing this comment up so much? Wow. Going forward, this conflict comes to an even further head in A Memory of Light during the meetings at the field of Marilor. Rand and Egwene start staring, actually yelling at each other, and it gets to the point where Rand says he's willing to give up the world if they do not agree to his demands. It seems as if this whole world is about to explode with this conflict, but then it all ends when Moiraine arrives, and Rand breaks down in tears at finding out she is alive. I love that moment! Moiraine brings resolution to the whole situation, like the boss she is. I added that, but it needed to be said. With her very presence and her ever-wise words. Rand and Egwene are able to solve their fight and make a plan for the last battle. For me, it's the best conflict in the books. I agree. It's one of the best. I'll say it's one of the best. One of the best. Tom Hopkins. Spoilers for Memory of Light. You're going for the very end, and I can totally understand why. The very end has some of the best conflicts. For me, it's the conflict between Rand and the Dark One during the last battle at Shale Ghul. All the way through the series, I was expecting a literal fight between the two of them at the end, where Rand uses Sayadine and the Dark One uses the true power, or something roughly to that effect. Instead, what we got was a brilliant psychological and philosophical battle between them, and I, for one, loved it. Not only was it tense and exciting, it was also interesting to consider the different futures after the last battle. Not least the future without the Dark One, where Rand realizes the Dark One must exist for people to have free will. Overall, in my opinion, it gives us one of the best final showdowns in all of fantasy. I will say in all of literature and stand by it with my reputation, but that's just me, and I'm also saying it to a crowd of people who might largely agree with me. Matthew Stormblessed, the fact that you're still here makes me love doing this channel all the more, Matthew. It's great to see you show up. I love having the loyalty of some people who I know I can count on, and it's great. For Matthew Stormblessed, I'm going to guess that you will be out of breath by the time you get to this comment, so I'll keep it short. I'm not out of breath. I'm doing great. My favorite conflict between Aviendha and the Wise One. It plays out mostly in the background, but in the end, I love the conclusion. Have a nice day, Daniel. Have a great week, Matthew. And yeah, okay. I thought I was super clever, because I was going to say at the end of this video that my favorite conflict was Aviendha and the Wise Ones, believe it or not. That was what I was planning. I had this whole spiel about how it's kind of something that is like this simmering tension that is like low-key there, and then its conflict, its resolution is this massive boil-over that reframes the Wise One's entire training process, which has been a rather large part of the series. And at times this seemed to conflict with Aiel ideology until you realize it doesn't, because that's the point. And because it's Aiel related, it kind of automatically gets bumped up for me as well. But Matthew, you stole that from me, so how dare you? How dare you? No, you're fine. From Van Helsing, I'm actually surprised that no one mentioned the most obvious, at least in my head, wool-headed men versus insufferable women. The reason for me to continue the series after I picked up the Eye of the World, rather by accident, was the power balance of Randland. Daniel triggered. I'm not triggered. I actually really like it. The nature of the one power being split in a male and female half is the common theme that is impacted on almost every relationship in the books. How many complain about the genders about the others? Men complain about the gossiping women. The women think men can't be trusted with secrets because they will obviously tell their best pals. I'm just going to reiterate one more time. A once-over on your comment section for spelling and grammatical errors would be largely appreciated. I'm not saying this is related to the comment I'm currently reading, but it would be appreciated by those that do read the comments, because he's also currently dyslexic, and that dyslexia makes reading the comments in general rather difficult. Please do not send me that dyslexia font thing. People keep trying to send me saying it'll cure my dyslexia. No, it will not cure my dyslexia. That font has nothing to do with actually curing dyslexia in any way, shape, or form, and has no benefit. It is purely an internet scheme. Thank you. This has been your mid-WoT talk break, and I hope you appreciate the brief intermission. We're continuing the comment now. Wow, that was largely not about that comment, but I still needed to say it, because a lot of people keep sending me a dyslexia font. Tell their best pals. Every nation has their own prior balance between the genders, some falling into extreme stereotypes while others shatter every expectation. And more the nations mix, the more the misunderstandings happen. Best example here might be Perrin and Faile, Mat and Teelin, or Rand and Aviendha. but it never feels unnatural to me. Yeah, it feels like something that really happens. I agree with you, homie. The Damani women being bloody seductive, but also calculating. Saldaean couples being dutiful and passionate. I won't list them all. They all feel filled with stereotypes, and then something rather unexpected countering. I can't really put into words. I just love the male-female dynamic. Fight me. Dude, I love it too, and it's great. Off topic. How did nobody mention It's Just a Weave, Perrin, in your quote videos? That's actually a good point. Why? Okay, guys. Me and Van Helsing are disappointed in you. All right? I'm going to do a 1-minute timeout. No, not really. I don't want to do that to you. Okay, moving on here. From Jessica Haley. Perrin in the Shido was a great end to the slog in the later books. Probably obvious answers land in Demon Dread and Rand's last fight with Morden are amazing. So the sheer scope of the last battle as a whole, it's honestly hard to pick an absolute favorite. Yeah, you know what? The best point is the fact that this is a very hard question to answer. From Hudson Manez, spoilers for The Winter's Heart. Absolutely love the conflict between men and women who can channel. Don't feel the need to read past this point if your voice is tired. Now I feel like I have to. Now, like you said so nice. This is some reverse psychology happening right now. And sadly, it's going to work. So, all right, Hudson, let's get into it. As for how it evolves the chosen one trope, normally the chosen one upon public realization to their destiny is widely accepted as a savior without much pushback from the good side. But in the case of the chosen one, for much of the series, is viewed by the general public as a practical evil and much more dangerous than helpful. The whole atomic bomb analogy. The conflict gets crazier with the creation of the Black Tower, and is partially why the Black Tower interference at Dumai's Wells is such a terrifying spectacle. Dude, it's horrifying. I cannot wait to see that on the screen. Having every man who can channel getting more powerful together rather than being gentled, yeah, people in the story aren't gonna like that. Even after the taint is cleansed by, I hope not phrasing doesn't translate to badly in the show, there's a doubt as to the much men can be trusted, and the relation between male and female channelers is so complicated. Also, it's great because the flipped power dynamic, which shines a light on the issues of gender equality in our own world. Yep, that's wonderfully done. Okay, guys, there's only really short answers after this, and I actually have to go because I have a meeting with a friend. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Wottalk, and you're ready for next week's question. So, what am I going to do for next week's question? That's a good question, and here I will answer it. So I've had a few questions and brought up a few things that have been highly critical of Wheel of Time because I like having this little community that loves it, that is also able to reflect on it negatively, and be critical. I feel healthy and good. But for the question I'm going to ask here, this is going to be a gushy, pro Wheel of Time episode next week, because what I want you to say, and this is a hard question, I want you to say, what is your favorite aspect of the Wheel of Time series? What is the one thing that holds it above the crowd in your mind? What sets it apart? I know that's asking a lot because I myself really do struggle picking what my favorite aspect of the series is. But I'm really interested to know what draws people to it. And I honestly don't know if we're going to get a very diverse set of answers or a very uniform set of answers. And I think that is a question worth asking and hearing the answer to. So what is your favorite aspect of the Wheel of Time series? What is its greatest asset? What is the Wheel of Time's greatest strength? Is it character? Is it world? Is it a specific thing? There could be a small thing. It could be the skirt smoothing. If that's what gets your rocks off in fantasy, man, okay, maybe I will judge a little bit. But still, I want to know. And I look forward to seeing your answers in next week's WoT Talk. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.